The distress beacon pierced through the void like a scream in the darkness. Aboard the UTSS Valkyrie, Commander Elsa Reyes stood over the holographic display, her steel-gray eyes analyzing the alien transmission that had every other species in the Galactic Council paralyzed with fear. "It's coming from the Valorum mining colony," Lieutenant Zia Khan reported from his station, his fingers dancing across the tactical interface. "The Krell have them surrounded. Estimated hostile force, 2,000 combat drones and a destroyer-class warship." Elsa's jaw tightened. The Valorum were a peaceful species, quadrupedal herbivores whose greatest invention had been a particularly efficient hydroponic system. They had no standing military, no weapons beyond mining equipment. Against the Krell's mechanical army, they were helpless prey. "Time until Council reinforcements arrive?" Elsa asked, though she already knew the answer. 72 hours, Commander," Zia replied grimly. "The Valorum won't last 12. The bridge fell silent. Every officer present understood what those numbers meant. The Galactic Council operated on bureaucratic timelines, moving with the caution of civilizations that had never known true predation. But humans were different. They came from Earth, a Class 12 death world where everything evolved to survive against impossible odds. Elsa turned to face her crew. 27 men and women, all volunteers from Terra's Special Operations Command. They wore the black and crimson of humanity's most elite unit, and each one had that familiar fire in their eyes, the same fire that had driven their ancestors to climb mountains because they were there, to sail across oceans into the unknown, to reach for the stars when others said it was impossible. "Load for combat insertion," Elsa commanded. "We're going in." Zia stood from his station, a rare smile crossing his usually stoic features. "With respect, Commander, the Council will have our heads for this. Then they'll have to catch us first." Elsa strapped on her combat harness, the servo-assisted armor humming to life around her frame. "Besides, someone once told me that humanity doesn't abandon those who call for help." "Your grandfather was a wise man," Zia acknowledged, securing his own gear. 20 minutes later, the Valkyrie's drop pod screamed through Valorum Colony's atmosphere like falling stars. Inside her pod, Elsa felt her heart rate slow to the familiar combat rhythm. 60 beats per minute, steady as a metronome. Around her, gravitational forces that would pulverize most species to paste were merely uncomfortable. The pod struck the colony's outskirts in perfect formation, cratering the rust-red soil. Elsa emerged first, her weapon raised, scanning the devastated landscape. Fires burned across the settlement. Valorum civilians huddled in shattered structures, their crystalline eyes wide with terror as Krell drones methodically herded them toward processing facilities. "Contact left," Zia's voice crackled through the comm. 20 drones advancing on the medical center. "Engaging," Elsa responded. The humans moved like shadows, each step calculated, each breath controlled. The Krell drones registered the new targets and adjusted their formation, a tactical error. They were designed to fight the Galactic Council's forces, species who valued individual preservation above all else. They weren't prepared for Deathworlders. Elsa's plasma rifle sang, each burst finding its mark with surgical precision. Beside her, Zia moved with the fluid grace of a persistence hunter, his movements economical and devastating. The drones fell in rapid succession, their tactical algorithms unable to process the sheer aggression and coordination of the human assault. "This doesn't make sense," one of the younger operators, Corporal Martinez, panted over the comm. "Why are they here? The Valorum have nothing worth this kind of military investment." "They don't need to," Zia replied, covering a group of Valorum refugees as they fled toward the evacuation zone. "Fear is the product. Show the Council that even the most harmless species can be destroyed at will, and suddenly everyone pays the Krell's protection fees." Elsa's blood ran cold at the implications, but there was no time for political analysis. The destroyer-class warship was powering up its main cannon, targeting the colony's central habitat dome where thousands of Valorum sheltered. "Zia, I need that ship disabled," Elsa ordered. "On it." Zia's acknowledgement was immediate. "Martinez, Chen, Walker, you're with me. Commander, we'll need 20 minutes. You have 15. Elsa watched as Zia's team sprinted toward the Krell's forward operating base, moving with the reckless courage that made humanity both admired and feared across the galaxy. She turned her attention to the remaining drones. her tactical display showing hostile signatures converging from all directions. The battle became a blur of motion and decision. Elsa's team fought with the practiced efficiency of Earth's apex predators, each human worth 10 of the mechanical soldiers. They used the terrain, the ruins, even the smoke itself as weapons. When ammunition ran low, they adapted, improvised, overcame. 12 minutes after Zia's departure, a series of explosions rocked the Krell warship's engine core. The massive vessel listed to one side, its weapon systems going dark. Through the smoke, Elsa saw Zia's team emerging, battered but intact. Package delivered, Zia reported with characteristic understatement. The Krell forces, suddenly without orbital support and facing an enemy that refused to break, began a chaotic retreat. Within the hour, the colony was secure. Elder Vorin, the Valorum colony leader, approached Elsa with trembling limbs. Your species came. The council said no one would arrive in time. Why did you come? Elsa removed her helmet, meeting the alien's crystalline gaze with her own weary but determined eyes. Because you asked for help, she said simply. On Earth, we have an old saying, no one left behind. We extend that courtesy to our friends among the stars. As the Valkyrie lifted off 48 hours later, Elsa stood on the bridge beside Zia, watching the reconstructed colony fade into the distance. The Galactic Council had indeed summoned them for an inquiry, but messages of support were flooding in from dozens of species. Races who now knew that humanity's reputation as Deathworlders came with an unexpected corollary. They were the galaxy's most dangerous predators, yes, but they were also its most reliable protectors. Commander, Zia said quietly, incoming transmission. It's another distress beacon. Elsa studied the star map, then smiled. That same fierce, predatory smile that had struck fear into humanity's enemies for millennia. Set course, she ordered. And somebody tell the council we'll be late for that meeting. After all, there were people who needed help. And humanity always answered the call.